Hello, Dmitry here. Last week there was a bit of news about Paul Rodgers declining the offer to work on a previously unreleased Van Halen album, the album that Alex Van Halen has been talking about for a year now. Some people were concerned about the singer's health, and that's understandable given that quite recently he sat out of the induction ceremony into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. So now Paul went on social media to explain that he was okay, but still there seemed to be some other reason behind his decision to go public. From what I've seen on the internet, some people started blaming Paul for almost ruining this valiant Van Halen project by refusing to take part in it. These people don't seem to understand what's really happening there. And what's really happening there is that all the instrumental parts for this Van Halen album have already been done and dusted and cannot be changed for obvious reason. Eddie Van Halen is dead. And it's this that leaves very little creative room for Paul or any other singer to do anything. Any singer who comes in to work on such a project has to not only sing but to also write vocal melodies. And that's what Paul Rodgers has been doing his entire life with Free, with Bad Company, with the Firm, and with the Law. And it's always been a compromise because instrumentalists who he worked with had to accommodate his vocal style, and he could accommodate their style of playing. And that's what happened with Queen, and it's not a coincidence that Paul had to tour with Queen for some considerable time before he went on to record an album, Cosmos Rocks, with them. But in this case, in the case of this new, previously unreleased, whatever you call it, Van Halen album, it's simply impossible. There's nobody to Paul to bounce his ideas out of, and he can work with Alex, but of course it was Eddie who wrote the principal melodies. And that's why, for this very same reason, Robert Plant, who also was invited to work on this project, also declined. People like Robert and Paul, they like to be creative, and in these circumstances they can't really do that. There are people who are happy with such an arrangement. We can look at Michael Schenker's singers, the former rainbow vocalist he used on these projects. But this is not the case. So it's very strange, of course, that Alex Van Halen doesn't bring in former Van Halen singers, because David Lee Roth and Sammy Hagar and even Gary Sharon, they know very well how would Eddie go about these previously unreleased melodies. They knew his method of work. But any other singer, well, it's hardly possible for them. It's a very unenviable thing. So it's very good that Paul declined this offer. It's better to wait new music from him than what he could do with this Van Halen project. So let's wait and see how it all turns out. But it's gonna be interesting in any case, so let's wait. Let's just wait.